Heyo everyone, we're back at it again with another walkthrough. This time I'm doing a field battle from Stalemate Creek. Let's just get right into it. Right away, the first thing I'm considering is my layout. I have my default layout set up with my pikes. On the field battles, it's going to typically be either very cav heavy or anti-cav. So I've gone with an anti-cav build, and I'm looking through my team and noticing that we do not have a lot of cav. Now, Stalemate Creek isn't as cav heavy as some of the other field battles, but it's still very heavy because you can run from A to C back and forth pretty easily with cav. And with strong heavy cav, you can go over B pretty easily as well. So I'm considering now what kind of artillery I want to take. I think I end up going with a Hwacha. I probably would have been better served with this side that we're on, actually going with something that has lobbing capability to take out archers across from B. But I ended up going with a Hwacha to try to use it for anti-cavalry. Ended up not using it. So looking back through my team again, I decided to lock it in. We don't have a lot of cav, but you only have to hold 2 points. So B's going to be pretty easy to hold without cavalry. And with anti-cav, you can lock it down. A is towards our side. So it's going to be the one we're going to have to focus on the most. But we're going to go ahead and actually start going with A. That's where I've decided to focus first. I picked my imp pikes because I want to try to race over to A and try to advance over any cav that try to cross over to our side. All right, dropping in. We're going to go ahead and sprint over towards A as quick as we can. We want to get the counter started ticking on that, depending on what kind of resistance we're going to get from the opponents. So we're going to go ahead and sprint to A. Kind of watching it this time, looking to see across the way what the opponent's going to be sending our way. I'm expecting to see a bunch of cav cross over to A to try to take us out. So I'm going to kind of peek over as we're running. I see that they have some infantry coming over, but not really any cav resistance. So we're going to start ticking down on A's location and eye it. I noticed that that is a bow that is across from us on the bridge. So I'm not too concerned about that. And looks like he has Domain Spearman, which is going to be no resistance to us. We got our guy with our armigers over this way. We've got actually a big team push from A. So we should be perfectly simple. Those guys are going to go over to flank. Me and the guy with the shield mains decide to just go ahead and take these guys out. They're only domains, not too big a deal with some backup from range. So we're going to go ahead, try to race up and get an advance over top the shields to help shield maidens rush them over. Our cav went around and flanked him and is actually going to come charge from behind and take him out. So we got a good pincer maneuver on the opponents. We're going to chase him down because there's not much other resistance at this moment. Now, our cav guy is most likely going to run around and try to take out their supply point, flank them, heading towards C. The rest of us decide to cross straight over to B. In field battles, you mainly just need to maintain 2 locations to tick down the resources. So since we locked in A, we're going to go ahead and try to lock in B. B's a big deal on this map. If you run a lot of cav, you can actually ignore B and just race A and C the entire time. But our team's very heavy infantry, so we're going to rush in. So I decided to harass a little bit, clear out those little extras, and now I'm going to swing my imp pikes around and try to get a big rush over top of them. I'm easily just going to be able to walk them over with an advance. They chase our dual blade. I go ahead and just wipe out their opponent units. I am noticing we are getting attacked from range, and you can see we even get some artillery strike on us. So I have a big concern at this moment. Those guys are cleaning up the opponents. I don't want to get my pikes damaged. So I'm going to send my pikes off to the side. I'm going to make sure we get B capped down, and I'm actually going to come up and around behind B. I'm actually going to park my pikes up here, so that way they can't be hit by the opposition of cross from B. And I'm just going to sit here and kind of eye what's going on. So we managed to lock down all 3 locations. We've got really good ticking on the resources, but I'm kind of just babysitting. I'm spying to see if someone's trying to go over and sneak A at any point. No one seems to be moving. I'm kind of watching to see what resistance heads towards our C crew. And at the same time, I'm trying to watch for anyone coming towards B. We start seeing this guy turning. He's going to head towards B. I start pulling my pikes up because I want to counteract him before he can get to it. I come down, give him a poke, let him know that I've got B covered. He decides to back up for a bit, so I start pulling my pikes back. I notice that he's actually locked in place and he's going to try to attempt it. So I just go ahead and push down towards him. He's got halbs. I should easily be fine taking out Lansknechts. So I'm going to rush him, get set up, take an advance to wipe him out. I'm going to then poke him and harass him. His units are gone. I'm going to let my ally try to pressure him more, and I'm going to get out of there. Guy's actually on B, so I'm going to try to stop him. He manages to take it. So now our goal is to get B back. We want to get those 50 points from getting it back. So I give a bit of a harass. He's not going to let me have it. So I pull in the pikes to try to help me take him out. So we're just going to constantly fight him. At this point, I'm not happy. The enemy artillery is going to start bombarding my pikes, but I need to take him out as quick as possible to get B locked back down. It's only one guy on it. It's a good idea now to get it locked down before he gets more help coming up. I've got some assistance from a ally and his berserkers, so I'm going to go ahead, lock B, and then get back out of the way. I want to get my guys out of the artillery so that way they don't get killed. Right now, they're doing a really good job for me, and the opposition's a decent amount of infantry, so it's actually been working well. I'm going to send them to get healed since I don't see much enemy opposition coming towards B at the moment. Take a look at the map and we'll notice that we've got allies fighting on their supply point and spawn, as well as fighting towards C. So I decided I'm going to go help out that ally that's trying to take out the enemy archers. So I'm going to jump up towards that way and hope that I can give them some assistance while my guys are healing. I noticed there's a lot of opposition on their supply point, so I'm going to rush up here, try to help them take out these archers real quick, and then try to get back out of there. I just want to clear it up so that way I can fight on B without having as much hesitation. So we're going to take out the crossbows. We're just going to jump down and get out of there. I got my goal done, cleared up what was trying to kill me, helped secure B a little bit better, and we're going to get out before we can get killed. So I start pulling my pikes back up towards the front so that way I can fight and engage with them. Take a quick peek, see what the opponent's doing. They're really not marching towards B too much. Got a couple random cavalry, so I just sit there and try to get my pikes set back up. Taking a quick peek, don't really see much enemy opposition at all. Now we do notice that we got these guys heading down towards B. He's just setting up some ranged units across the way. We'll kind of leave him be, not worry about it too much. We've got things locked down. We've got a good score. Notice the guy starts cap at A, so I'm going to pull my units and we're going to go try to chase down the guy at A. Notice I'm not going to get there in time. It's only one guy by the look of it, so I decide to keep engaging. Look, and he's got gray hairs. So it's like, okay, we'll get our pikes set up, try to oppose him. Got an ally coming to flank. So I'm like, all right, we're going to give this a shot. So we get our pikes lined up, try to get it set up, race in to get a little bit of a damage set up. And he's got really good gray hairs. They did a lot of damage. So I try to get set up, get the advance going, try to help the ally take out the enemy warlord. My pikes are not doing a good job. That guy's got a really good gray hair unit. They're set up really well. I decided to come from behind and get some damage in, which is a pretty big mistake because these guys are doing pretty massive damage. So I decided to try to help the warlord out. And we do not do a very good job at taking this guy out. Guy's not doing very good. He decides that he is going to actually start using his units and try to set up in his units. Now, this is a really good move from him. He can just sit there on A and sit in his units. The musket can do something about it. I can't much. And I accidentally get too close with my horse and get annihilated. So this is a really bad move by my part. What I should have done was actually hang back a little bit and just pegged him with Procris's gift and let my other ally help out as well with just getting him from a range. Or I should have tried to pull out another set of units and just let it be for the moment, let another ally take my spot. It was a very poor move by my part. So I decided we're going to go over and help with A. The enemy has A and B. A is going to be an easier take. We have allies heading towards B already. So I'm going to go help secure A and ensure that we get our foothold set up. So I come up here and notice that they actually are clearing it up. So they took out the enemy warlord. They're capping it. So I decided to revert real quick and head towards B. I don't need my assistance anymore. And we need to get B locked back down. We could sit here and just sit on A and C. The thing is, C is quite a bit easier for the opponent to claim. And it's too far away for me to try to go help defend. As you see, the enemy does start trying to take C, but it's better since I see a huge wave of forces from them heading towards C to try to secure it, to just try to lock out B and trade with them. So I'm going to come down here and start trying to help the enemy. I screw up my abilities pretty bad right there and don't really help my ally out. Get my gray hair set up to try to defend out, and we're just going to start pushing in as best we can. I've got allies coming as well, so we've got 2 sets of gray hairs to try to push in against these guys. I do notice that they've got some jabs coming up from behind. I'm going to let my allies try to take care of them, and I'm just going to be one of the vanguarding forces to push in. Just keep an eye on them. So here we're trying to push into those maidens, get into the formation. We're going to pull our units up into them. We're going to start dealing with the maidens as best we can. Keeping an eye on behind, trying to keep pressure on that warlord so that he doesn't try to rush up into my gray hairs. I'm just constantly pushing in with the gray hairs as best I can. So I'm going to go harass this dual blade. I accidentally thought my ability was off cooldown. It wasn't, so I let him sit there a little bit too long. So we're going to start redirecting towards the other side. Stop that guy from harassing in on B and get B locked down. So our allies are trying to push down the side and give a little bit more harassment, which is great. I'm going to start switching gray hairs back to the other side as I notice that we've got a short sword trying to work his way in. The enemy does go ahead and cap A from us, which is really bad for us because now they've got the 2 positions on hold. But we're going to make sure that we secure B. We don't want to just go back and forth trading with them. We're just going to keep holding it. And I'm going to leave it to our allies that are respawning to go and actually try to take A back to get us our second location. So we're just constantly back and forth between the different sides that the enemies are advancing on, trying to ensure that we can hold down our location. Luckily, we've got a good amount of our team here, so we're able to just keep harassing and stopping them. We're going to just harass that longsword, make sure he knows he's not getting in. I noticed we got guys coming from the other way, so I'm going to switch sides over to ensure that they can't get a charge in with this cavalry. Right now, all he's got over here is a set of imp pikes. We're going to go around and try to take him out, though, so that way his units will have to respawn, and I screw up my Dragon's Roar, so the dude is going to get away. If I would have landed my combo, he probably would have been dead, but I screwed it up, so he got away. We're just going to keep harassing those pikes, trying to whittle them down. So at this moment, we have about 100 left on their reforces. It's 20 for a kill, as well as 50 per a cap, so we really only need to get a couple of caps or a few more kills from them. So at this point, it's kind of a race to ensure that we do not lose something and that we can get a few kills in to finish it off. So we don't have 2 locations, which means we can only really win this by getting kills. We're going to keep trying to wipe them out, try to get a hold of warlords. Our team manages to push him off A, goes to get the cap on A. That's going to give us 50 points. I'm going to charge my gray hairs to try to get some serious damage off these guys since they don't have units really to defend, and pull them back. We got the cap. Now they're down to 40 and we've got 2, so we're ticking away at their points. At this point, it's a game of survival and try to get a couple warlord kills. Got this guy racing in. He's going to go try to help his allies. My ally managed to take out some enemies. We get a few more ticks, and that finishes it off. So that match was a very interesting match. At the beginning, we actually did a really good job of holding down 2 locations and even 3 for a long time and holding back the opponent. Eventually, though, they did come over and start harassing A more, which helped them to keep us from ticking down as much. And that really, towards the end, made it a very close match, which is really interesting to see. I really hope that this walkthrough helped all of you get a good idea about some of the thought processes that are going through my head while doing a field battle. I don't get to do them nearly as much, which is kind of a shame because people don't queue up for them, but I do still thoroughly enjoy them because it is such a very different thought process, trying to get that cap balance and worrying about kills versus siege, which is a lot more about pushing objectives. With that, hope you all enjoyed this. Until next time, I'll see you on the battlefield.